I chatted with best-selling author Phillippi about her newest novel, The First to Lie. Joining us today is multiple award-winning reporter and USA Today best-selling author Phillippi. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you? Seeing you so far away. It's wonderful to imagine you up in Canada. I'm in sweltering Boston, so it's a joy to meet you.
It was very nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for joining us. So you're releasing your newest novel called The First to Lie on August 4th. Can you tell us what it'll be about?
Oh my gosh, The First to Lie is my 12th novel. It's a thriller. It's a fast-paced legal thriller. It's my job is to entertain people a little bit, to make you miss your stop on the bus because you want to read just one more chapter of my book. And The First to Lie is about all my experiences as a reporter, essentially going undercover. And I wondered what it would be like if someone decided that their undercover identity was more valuable to them than who they really are. And what might happen to a reporter who got so deeply undercover that she lost herself. So it's a Hank Phillippi Ryan DNA cat and mouse game is what this book is, a high stakes cat and mouse game between two strong women trying to prove their truth about a terrible betrayal. But which one of them is the cat and which one of them is the mouse and which one will be the first to lie. So that's what it's about.
Well, it sounds very exciting. And just to be clear for those who may not know, residents here in Lloydminster will be able to buy it in our bookstores.
Oh, absolutely. I know that in your bookstores right now is my current novel, The Murder List. Can you see the cover, how funny that is? Some people think that's me. It isn't. The Murder List is sort of John Grisham meets Lisa Scottolini. Someone said if John Grisham and Lisa Scottolini had a book baby, The Murder List would be it. And it is now in stores in your area, and it's nominated for every single, I'm thinking about this now, Shelby. It's the only novel that's nominated for the Agatha, Anthony McCavity, and Mary Higgins Clark Award in the world. So this is a very special novel, and I know it's available in your area right now. Another cat and mouse thriller.
And you said this was your 12th novel. What inspired you to be able to come up with this idea for this novel?
Well, that's fascinating. I grew up in really rural Indiana, so rural that you couldn't see another house from our house. And my sister and I used to ride our ponies to the library to get books, and we would read up in the hayloft of the barn behind our house. And I read Nancy Drew and Sherlock Holmes and Agatha Christie, and I really became fascinated with the architecture of a mystery, how a really good author could lure you in and steer you in the wrong direction, and in the end could have an ending that would just surprise you and make you say, oh, I never saw that coming. This is so much fun. So I always wanted to write mysteries, and one day, many years ago, I was 55 actually, 15 years ago, and I got what I knew was a great idea for a novel. And I said, I have this good idea, I'm going to write a novel. And that was the beginning of my second career in crime fiction. So again, The Murder List, and oops, that's backwards, isn't it? The Murder List and The First to Lie, they're crime thrillers. But what they really are about is the same thing that I do in my investigative reporting. They're really about justice. I don't write about crime as much as I do about justice and what truth means and how we get to the truth, and how in every murder investigation and in every murder trial, it's all about the good story, right? And who tells the better story to convince the jury what to believe. So in all my novels, I make you think the story is one thing, and then I give a big twist and have you think, what if it's something else? And surprise you on every page. So I don't know what the end of my books are before I start writing them. So people say, my readers say, wow, the end of The Murder List, the end of The First to Lie, you really surprised me. And I say, yeah, wasn't that a surprise? Because talk about a surprise ending. I surprised myself every time. And that is what, I mean, Sue Grafton used to call that the magic of writing. And that is what happens. And that's where I want to take the reader into this brand new world with a character who they care about and a problem that needs to be solved. And in the end, the good guys win and the bad guys get what's coming to them. And my books are the kind of book that you put down and you think, you know what, that was a good book. That's what I'm hoping from these novels.
Well, now with being on that topic, with you also being an investigative reporter for Boston's WHDH-TV, has that been hard to juggle two successful careers at once, or has it been inspiring your work?
What a good question. That is such a lovely question, because I don't think I could have written these 12 going on 13 novels and won all these awards if I didn't have this career as an investigative reporter. I've been a television reporter for 43 years and still on the air in Boston. I've wired myself with hidden cameras and confronted corrupt politicians and gone undercover and in disguise and, chased down criminals and sent people to prisons and have laws changed as a result of our stories. Now, my novels aren't my television stories turned into fiction, but all that deep experience, all that authenticity goes into what makes the books feel genuine and authentic and realistic. Everything that happens to my main characters has happened to me in one way or another, or could really happen. So the juggling of it is kind of a joy, actually. Yes, I think I work all the time, probably like you do, Shelby. I work all the time, but the imagination that I need to tap into to write a novel is a little bit of a different part of my brain than my factual television reporting. Now, in writing novels, I get to make things up. I mean, that's the best way of putting it. And the one thing that I wondered about juggling, in answer to your question, is whether, as a reporter who has won 37 Emmys for investigative reporting, whether I could make stuff up. I mean, I know that sounds so silly. And I have learned that creating these new worlds is just, I know this sounds so silly, but just a dream come true. To be able to write something that's engrossing and riveting and compelling and entertaining. I mean, I just got a starred review from Publishers Weekly for The First to Lie, which called it stellar. And so on my bad writing days, of which there are many, I think I'm so lucky to be able to have the experience of being an investigative reporter and then take all that experience and put it right into writing a thrilling and compelling novel. So I'm really lucky. Even in these crazy days, I sort of count my blessings about how lucky I am to be having this wonderful television career and then another blossoming, successful, knock on wood, career as a thriller writer.